In a move that has sent shockwaves through the global community, China has agreed to Taiwan's proposal for reunification. This historic decision marks the potential end to a decades-long conflict. The implications are far-reaching, affecting global power dynamics and economic forecasts. The world watches with bated breath as this new chapter unfolds. Will this reunification usher in an era of peace and prosperity, or ignite new tensions? The answers depend on how China navigates integrating Taiwan and the international response. To grasp China's decision, delve into the complex China-Taiwan history. The divide began post-World War II, with the Chinese Communist Party's victory in the Civil War. In 1949, the Kuomintang fled to Taiwan, establishing their own government. This marked a lasting political and ideological schism. During the Cold War, they existed in a state of standoff. China saw Taiwan as a breakaway province. Taiwan claimed independence. Despite attempts at rapprochement, Taiwan's status remains unresolved. At the heart of Taiwan's proposal lies the principle of one country, two systems. This framework, first implemented in Hong Kong after its return to China in 1997, allows for a certain degree of autonomy and preservation of existing political and economic systems within a unified China. Taiwan, under this arrangement, would theoretically retain its own government, military, and economic system. However, it would acknowledge Beijing's sovereignty and relinquish any claims to full independence on the international stage. The one country, two systems model has been touted as a pragmatic solution to a complex political problem. It offers a potential pathway for reunification while addressing, at least on paper, some of Taiwan's concerns about losing its distinct identity and way of life. However, the model has also faced criticism, particularly in light of recent events in Hong Kong. Many observers argue that China has gradually eroded Hong Kong's autonomy, raising concerns about the long-term viability of one country, two systems in practice. China's decision to accept reunification under these terms is a calculated gamble, driven by a complex interplay of strategic, economic, and political considerations. On the one hand, reunification with Taiwan holds immense symbolic and strategic value for China. It would fulfill a long-held ambition of national rejuvenation and solidify its claim as a regional hegemon. Control over Taiwan would grant China a strategic foothold in the Western Pacific, bolstering its naval power projection capabilities and potentially shifting the regional balance of power in its favor. Economically, Taiwan represents a valuable prize for China. Home to a sophisticated technology sector and a skilled workforce, Taiwan's integration could further boost China's economic engine and enhance its global competitiveness. However, the path to reunification is fraught with potential risks. The integration of Taiwan, a vibrant democracy with a distinct cultural identity, could prove to be a complex and potentially destabilizing undertaking. The specter of social unrest and political resistance within Taiwan could pose a significant challenge to Beijing. Section 5. A World in Flux. Global Reactions to a Reunited China. The international community has greeted the news of China's reunification agreement with a mixture of cautious optimism, apprehension, and outright condemnation. The United States, Taiwan's longtime security guarantor, finds itself in a particularly delicate position. While officially adhering to the One China policy, Washington has walked a fine line between supporting Taiwan's autonomy and avoiding direct confrontation with Beijing. The reunification agreement throws this delicate balancing act into disarray, forcing a reassessment of U.S. policy in the region. Across the Pacific, Japan views the reunification with growing unease. Tokyo has long perceived a rising China as a potential threat to its own security and regional interests. The prospect of a unified China with control over Taiwan's strategic location further fuels these anxieties. Meanwhile, European nations are grappling with the economic and geopolitical ramifications of a more assertive China on the world stage. While eager to maintain trade ties with the economic powerhouse, European leaders are also wary of China's growing military might and its human rights record. Section 6. Economic Aftershocks. A new landscape for global trade. The economic implications of a unified China are significant and far-reaching. The integration of Taiwan's economy, particularly its advanced semiconductor industry, could further solidify China's position as a global economic powerhouse. This newfound economic clout could have profound implications for global trade patterns and supply chains. Companies worldwide may need to reassess their strategies to adapt to a more China-centric global economy. However, this economic integration also carries potential risks. The reunification process could disrupt global supply chains, particularly in the crucial semiconductor industry, leading to price fluctuations and economic uncertainty. Moreover, a more economically dominant China could leverage its influence to advance its own geopolitical agenda, potentially creating friction with other major economies. Section 7. Shifting Sands of Power. The military and strategic implications. The reunification of China and Taiwan will have profound implications for the military balance of power in the Asia-Pacific region and beyond. China's control over Taiwan would significantly enhance its maritime power projection capabilities, granting it control over strategically vital shipping lanes and potentially altering the regional balance of power. This shift in the balance of power could lead to a more volatile security environment in the region. Neighboring countries, particularly Japan and South Korea, may feel compelled to bolster their own military capabilities in response to China's growing assertiveness. The United States, long the dominant military power in the region, will need to reassess its strategic posture in light of these developments. Maintaining peace and stability in the region will require a delicate balancing act, navigating the complexities of great power competition while avoiding escalation and conflict. Section 8. Charting the Course. International Cooperation in a New Era. The reunification of China and Taiwan marks a pivotal moment in history. As the world adjusts to this new reality, the need for international cooperation and dialogue has never been greater. Open lines of communication between China and other major powers, particularly the United States, will be crucial to managing potential tensions and preventing misunderstandings that could escalate into conflict. Multilateral institutions, such as the United Nations, will play a vital role in fostering dialogue and cooperation on issues of shared concern, such as climate change, global health security, and nuclear non-proliferation. The success of this new chapter in the Asia-Pacific region hinges on the ability of all stakeholders to embrace diplomacy, prioritize peaceful solutions, and work together to build a more stable, prosperous, and equitable world order. This is a moment of both profound challenge and immense opportunity. The choices made today will shape the geopolitical landscape for generations to come. As Taiwan reintegrates with China, its economy faces a period of significant transformation. Taiwan has long been a global technology powerhouse, particularly in the semiconductor industry. The reunification could lead to both opportunities and challenges for its businesses. On one hand, access to the vast Chinese market offers unprecedented growth potential. On the other, Taiwan's industries may need to navigate new regulatory landscapes and increased competition from Chinese firms. The integration process will likely bring about shifts in trade policies, with potential impacts on Taiwan's export-driven economy. Small and medium-sized enterprises may find it challenging to adapt, whereas larger corporations might benefit from economies of scale. The Taiwanese workforce will also need to adjust, with potential job retraining programs becoming crucial. Ultimately, the economic impact on Taiwan will depend on how effectively its government and businesses can leverage the opportunities while mitigating the risks. It's a delicate balancing act that will require strategic planning and international cooperation. As the world watches the reunification of China and Taiwan unfold, the role of the United States becomes a focal point of global interest. Historically, the U.S. has been a staunch ally of Taiwan, providing military support and advocating for its autonomy. With reunification on the horizon, Washington faces a complex geopolitical dilemma. On one hand, the U.S. must navigate its commitments to Taiwan and its strategic interests in the Asia-Pacific region. On the other, it has to manage its relationship with China, a key economic partner and a rising global power. The U.S. could potentially leverage its influence to ensure a peaceful and mutually beneficial reunification process, emphasizing diplomatic channels and international cooperation. However, this balancing act is fraught with challenges. Any perceived shift in U.S. policy could have significant repercussions, both domestically and internationally. As America weighs its options, its actions will undoubtedly shape the geopolitical landscape for years to come. Ultimately, the role of the United States in this historic moment will be a testament to its ability to navigate the intricate web of global politics, balancing its principles with pragmatic considerations. As the dust begins to settle from the monumental reunification of China and Taiwan, the focus shifts to the future of cross-strait relations. With a shared history that spans centuries, the people on both sides of the strait now face the challenge of forging a new path together. The initial period post-reunification will be crucial. It will be a time for rebuilding trust, fostering mutual understanding, and addressing long-standing grievances. Cultural, economic, and social exchanges will play a pivotal role in knitting the fabric of this newly united entity. There will be challenges, adjusting to new political realities, reconciling different administrative systems, and harmonizing economic policies. However, the potential rewards are immense. A united China-Taiwan can harness combined resources, talents, and innovations to emerge as a formidable global force. International communities will be watching closely, offering support and guidance as needed. The success of this reunification could serve as a blueprint for resolving other geopolitical conflicts around the world. In the end, the future of cross-strait relations will depend not just on policies and agreements, but on the willingness of the people to embrace a shared destiny. It will be a testament to the power of unity, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. As China and Taiwan embark on their journey of reunification, the ripple effects on regional stability cannot be ignored. Neighboring countries, each with their own interests and concerns, are closely monitoring the situation. For some, a stronger, united China could be seen as a stabilizing force in the region, potentially leading to new opportunities for collaboration and economic growth. However, for others, the reunification might fuel anxieties about China's growing influence and military capabilities. There are fears that this newfound strength could disrupt the delicate balance of power in East Asia, prompting a regional arms race and heightening tensions. The South China Sea, already a flashpoint of territorial disputes, could become even more contentious. Nations with competing claims may feel pressured to bolster their own defenses, leading to an increase in military activities and a greater risk of conflicts. Moreover, the reunification might influence the strategic calculations of regional alliances. Countries like Japan, South Korea, and members of ASEAN will need to reassess their diplomatic and security strategies in light of this significant geopolitical shift. In the end, the true impact on regional stability will depend on how effectively China can manage its relations with its neighbors and how the international community responds to this new reality. It is a delicate balancing act that will require diplomacy, restraint, and a genuine commitment to peace and cooperation. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainties, but it also holds the promise of a more integrated and prosperous East Asia. The world watches with bated breath as the next chapter in this unfolding story begins. As we look further into the future, the long-term outlook of a reunified China and Taiwan remains a topic of great speculation and intrigue. While the initial years may be marked by significant adjustments and growing pains, the potential for a stable and prosperous union cannot be dismissed. Economically, a reunified China could leverage Taiwan's advanced technological sector, creating synergies that propel both economies to new heights. The integration of Taiwan's innovative capabilities with China's vast market and manufacturing prowess could lead to unprecedented growth and development. However, this economic boon is contingent upon successful integration policies and the resolution of potential disparities in governance and societal expectations. Politically, the reunification could serve as a model for resolving other long-standing global conflicts. If managed with transparency and mutual respect, it could demonstrate the power of diplomatic solutions over military confrontations. Yet, the world will be watching closely to see how human rights and democratic principles are upheld in this new era. On the social front, the blending of cultures and identities will require careful and sensitive handling. Efforts to foster mutual understanding and respect between the people of China and Taiwan will be paramount. Educational exchanges, cultural collaborations, and open dialogue can play crucial roles in bridging any divides. The environmental implications also merit attention. A unified approach to tackling climate change and environmental conservation could amplify efforts and lead to more effective policies and innovations. The combined resources and expertise of both regions could make significant strides in global sustainability efforts. Ultimately, the long-term outlook hinges on the collective will to build a harmonious and cooperative future. The journey will undoubtedly be complex and challenging, but the potential rewards are vast. As history unfolds, the world will witness whether this reunification becomes a beacon of hope and progress or a cautionary tale of unfulfilled promises.